All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show here. Now, as most of you know, we're about the most unprofessional podcast out here, and I am a complete idiot. So here's what we got going on. We are actually adding another person to the show. We're adding another segment to the show here. We're going to now have, on a pretty regular basis, a former pro rider who has been in and out and amongst the motocross and supercross industry for a lot of years. So we're gonna have a Mr. Eric Grondahl here, as most of you probably have heard of him on the show or heard of him around the motocross industry there. We're going to have him on the show on a pretty regular basis here to kind of break down from someone who is actually a professional rider and not just some fat old guy in his garage in Michigan, what's going on at the races, and give his thoughts and opinions on some of the different topics that we like to cover on this show. So, without any further ado here, because I forgot to do this with the beginning of the show that we recorded last night, and me and him had to record separately here on Monday before I edited the show, brought to you by Alias MX. Pick yours up, link in the description below here, with your motocross gear that they have just relaunched, which I need to get some, by the way. It is Mr. Eric Grondahl. Hey, bud.
How's it going?
Dude,
Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's fantastic. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. I know you don't like the terminology, but you're going to be our JT of this show.
I got no problem with JT. Let's do it up.
Well, I mean, please, just,
he gave me a shout out on Pulp.
Did he really?
I guess. That's what I heard. I still haven't heard it, but I guess he said I'm a big cycling guy now, which is very true.
Huh. I didn't even hear. I guess I didn't pay attention to that. Maybe that was last week or something. Gosh, I don't remember. Huh.
Yeah, I think it was a few weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I don't remember that, but I do listen to that because, love him or hate him or anybody who is involved in that show, it is there's a lot of information that comes from that area over there. So
definitely.
Considering I'm a man of information here in the freelance news of the motocross industry, I gotta keep up with that kind of stuff. So anyway, man, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I thought, with our show growing and everything, as much fun as it is to hear us fat old guys in our garage in Michigan talk about this stuff and say things about these athletes that we would never be able to do, and we're like, man, they're doing it wrong, idiots. I thought it would be great to get somebody on who, on a regular basis, who has some pro riding experience, has rode with these guys, has at least the speed to be in the same realm as these guys. So thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm happy to be a part of it. I've always loved the sport, so I'm always happy to talk about dirt bikes.
Well, I know when you were on a couple weeks ago, what brought this to mind is I was wildly impressed with how closely you actually follow the sport, because some of the guys in the industry, which I would say you're pretty much in the industry still, or around it, or who have ridden, they don't really follow these. They're not fans of the sport per se. So
I'm a huge fan of the sport.
Yeah. When you were running,
I watch MXGP. I watch motocross, supercross, all of it.
Can we talk about? Did you see the clip? Who was the guy at the MXGP race? I think he was the 250 guy.
Wolf.
That pushed the guy off.
They were oh my God, that was insane.
Dude, how does your brain even process that? I can't even, dude, I would literally, as soon as I was that close where I could touch him, I would have shit my pants. There would be a brown streak.
I would have just been like, well, this is going to hurt really bad. and he's like, nope, not today.
You stay in your lane, sir. Oh my God. I watched that thing 10 times and just went, I don't understand. This boggles the mind to even process that. So, okay, so let's talk some MXGP here then, I guess, because I didn't talk about that on the show.
Okay, I didn't watch this weekend, but
have you seen the highlights? Okay, well, we don't even need to go that far.
Seen the highlights. I kind of know the results though. I know Prado and Lucas Kunin both went 1-1.
Yes. Okay.
So it seems like a pretty dominant weekend for the both of them.
I guess I'll be pretty general here. What are the chances you think Herlings could win this title here? He's like 39-ish down, I want to say, at this point. You think he's going to be able to get up there and run with those boys enough to really throw his hat in the ring, or is he just going to be a semi-distant third place after Timmy G and Prado?
No, I think I think he's still got a shot at it. There's enough races left. Enough stuff can happen, and he's already shown in the last few races that he's got his mojo back. Lommel, he was phenomenal. I was mind blown watching him come from. He fell 17 seconds behind Prado and just caught him. In like 6 minutes, 8 minutes? Like,
yeah,
it
something
was
like
insane.
that.
He was putting like 5 seconds a lap into him.
Yeah. He is. His sand skills are still absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they're unmatched for sure.
Staying on the MXGP realm there, what do you think? Thoughts on the Ducati debut with Tony Caroli here this coming weekend?
I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for that. I think the Ducati bike looks friggin' awesome, and Tony's obviously will forever be a legend in moto. It'll be cool to kind of see where he stacks up now after 2 years out of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 2. Yeah, I think he retired end of 22. So he'd been off last year, now this year. Yeah, I'm super interested because they've been having some success with those European races they've been doing there. So to see him toss in, but it's one of those things too. It's like, oh man, he hasn't raced essentially in a couple years outside of the local Italian races there.
Right.
So it's like you got to kind of factor that in. But then at the same time, I look at it as like, man, I think everybody kind of counts it out because new bike, he's been off. But man, if he comes out and puts that thing on the box here, I mean, that's a win.
What track is it this weekend?
You're gonna ask me, and dude, I don't know GP tracks for shit. So, they said the name, but yeah, I don't even know. So,
it's not Turkey, is it?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Cole, can you look up MXGP? Okay, Cole's looking it up right now.
All right, all right, my man in the corner over there. Love it, love it. Oh man,
what's that? Oh, Arnhem, Netherlands.
Yes,
that's gonna be a good one.
Yes, that's a sand track too, isn't it?
I'll go predict Hurling's 1-1.
Okay, well that's not very far fetched there. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Hurling's 1-1, Cairoli 2-2, old school.
No, I don't think a 2-2. A sand Caroli is awesome in the sand, so he has that working in his favor. But 35 minutes in the sand when you haven't really been racing a whole lot it's a lot. So yeah. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised though. If he went 3-3, I wouldn't be surprised.
I was just saying, if he puts it on the box in the first moto, even if he shits the bed completely in the second moto, that's a that's a win. That is 100% a win there. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nah, I like that. I like the odds of it a lot though because that guy is such a legend. He's in shape, he's been riding. So,
yeah.
So we'll see. All right, let's get back stateside here. So Unadilla this week. Now you've rode Unadilla, I assume, since you're East Coast there.
I tried to race this weekend.
Okay,
it didn't go so well.
oh, that's right. You did say you were going to try to race it. Shoot, I forgot.
Yep.
Okay, so how'd that go? Let's start there then. How'd that go for you?
Not good. Track was Unadilla for sure. It was very very deep, very ruddy, very high speed. They made a couple changes to the layout.
Okay.
Which I and a few other guys that I talked to are not a fan of. They've some of the higher speed sections that were kind of turning, they now made them into straightaways, so it just goes dead straight, so now you're going even faster.
Sick.
For example, spot Hymas crashed.
Yeah.
I crashed there in the LCQ. On the last lap, I was in 7th. There was a train of us. It was 2nd through 8th. We're all boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
And going down, I didn't go down as hard as Hymas because I wasn't going that fast, but I was still going pretty damn good, and I just got off balance coming into those ruts and cross-rutted and just kind of went for a ride and rung my bell pretty good.
Jeez.
Thankfully, that was all it is. My neck's a little stiff today, and my shoulder, but other than that, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much how that weekend went. The track was way too. I was just like, I do this for fun now.
Yeah.
And during the second practice, with how gnarly the track was, I was just like, why am I doing this? Like, why did I sign up? I was like, I'm ready to go home. Like, this is way too much for me nowadays. So. But I went out there in the LCQ and I was like, just try and get a good start and, see what I can do. And I was happy that I did still go down for the LCQ. I got a decent start, made a couple mistakes, went back to like 10th or 11th within the first few turns, and then made my way back into 7th and was battling with some fast dudes. And there was definitely quite a few dudes that didn't qualify for the motos that I was like, wow, this was not an easy race, regardless of the track conditions.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that Hymas crash there.
That was scary.
That was gnarly. Have you seen? I've been getting texts and everything from all sorts of fans about like the way they picked the bike up off him and letting him go back out there and stuff, and like, okay, the letting him go back out there. I haven't really seen how they picked the bike up off him. That might have been sketchy.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, watching that crash a few times, and the fact that they let him get back on that bike and ride just makes me
was wild.
Shake my head and go, what are we doing here? Because that was not one of those crashes that like you're like, yep, he's okay. He just knocked the wind out of himself. Like, no, he smacked that ground hard. That bike smacked. If you watch, that bike hit him in the head hard.
Big time.
So
that was my lucky thing when I crashed, is I was able to get away from my bike.
Yeah, I don't know. That was.
But yeah, he did not get that lucky.
No, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm glad for what it was that he's at least somewhat okay.
Kind of ish.
Yeah.
We'll go with kind of ish. So
yeah.
So Hunter comes out on that new 450 there and wins there. I mean, what from a pro rider perspective, what goes through your brain thinking about trying to process that and handle that in a weekend there of like, hey, we got a brand new bike.
Obviously, that bike's pretty damn good if he was able to do that. I will say, I mean, I wasn't out there for the motos, so people are probably going to talk crap, but from watching, and at least the areas I was watching in, the track was so gnarly with the ruts that it really didn't look like it got that rough, per se.
Okay.
Like, it didn't look like it got super gnarly big braking bumps and like all this stuff. It just looked like chattery and just enormous, huge, deep ruts that were sketchy.
Okay.
So I think, and not taking away anything from Hunter or the bike, but I think that definitely helps, when the bike doesn't have to, it's kind of all the same throughout the track, whereas like some tracks you'll get huge braking bumps in one spot and then small chattery bumps in another spot and then like sand sections and stuff like that, where Unadilla is kind of one consistent thing all the way around. So obviously that bike is dialed. Geyser has proven over in Europe that it's a really good bike. I don't doubt for a second that thing is better than last year's Honda. And Hunter rode immaculate. Like, that was pretty much a perfect moto. It doesn't get much better than that.
No,
he was able to fend off Chase. Chase was right there within, a half a second to 2 seconds the whole moto. And I kind of expected, because Hunter really hasn't been able to go the pace for 35 minutes all year. And that first moto he was. So I was like, I kind of expected Chase to get him. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Chase after the second moto, And he was like, yeah, he's like, Hunter was just absolutely sending it that first moto. And he's like, and I just didn't want to go over that edge. So he's like, that was what it was. He rode great and couldn't get him.
I was super surprised because I thought when Chase did get by him, I was like, oh, here we go. Typical like Chase has that.
Wait, did Chase pass him?
Chase passed him.
No way.
Oh, yeah. First moto, Chase passed him.
So where I was at, I couldn't see. I could only see like 3 spots on the track. So
okay.
I must have missed when he got around him then.
Yep. Nope. He passed him, and don't ask me where because I can't. I was on a camping trip, so I literally had like my camping TV, which is a 24-inch TV.
Oh yeah.
watching while talking to the other dads that were there camping. But but he did get by him, and I thought, oh, okay, race is over. Like Chase is just gonna go and check out, and then like I don't know, maybe it was 2-3 corners later, like Hunter got back by him, and I was like, oh wow, oh okay, all right, we got a battle, sick. So so that was super surprising.
That was a great moto from both of them.
Yeah, it was. So
it was fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then that second moto, that start by Chase, and then those first couple laps, bro.
That was insane. He had 6 seconds at the end of the first lap.
I know.
Who does that?
Ken Roxon.
Yeah.
That was a very Ken Roxon first lap there of like, wait.
It was insane. It was like the first 3 laps, and he had 10, 12, 13 seconds on him within like 3 laps.
Yeah. That was I was mind blown by that. Just like
and then he
where'd
just kind of put it on cruise control from there.
Yeah. So and speaking of Kenny, what'd you think of Kenny's comeback this weekend?
Second moto was better.
Yeah.
The first moto, I was kind of like waiting for him to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of, it didn't look like he was riding bad. I think that class is just so stacked right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's obviously he hasn't raced in a while. So that's always difficult. I would say just based off his previous Unadilla results, I kind of thought he could podium, kind of no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that second moto, it looked like the, race fitness just wasn't there to go the whole distance because I think he was the third fastest guy because I think Plessinger actually put in the second fastest lap.
Mm-hmm.
Who was shredding through the pack, by the way.
That was
insane to watch.
Oh, yes.
And, but yeah, Kenny, he was riding great, and I kind of thought that he would, he'd be second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it just looked like he just got tired towards the end, and those guys just got by him, which, can't blame him. Like, he hasn't been out there with these guys, and it's tough to just kind of jump in at the end of the season and do 35 minutes all out.
Yeah, I had some higher expectations coming in just because of his High Point performance last year. Last year he jumped.
That's kind of what I thought. I thought, High Point went well last year when he jumped in, but that was also a shorter time frame between racing for him. So,
yeah, and he wasn't coming off an injury.
Exactly, and the race fitness was still all there. So
yeah,
definitely different. Yeah, I don't know. Is he racing Buds?
He's not racing Buds, and then Ironman. He's on the 250. Yeah. So, what do you think he does there?
I don't know why he's doing it.
Nobody does.
Just for the hell of it.
This is a very Ken Roxon thing to do.
I dropped down to a 250 this year, and it's because it's fun. Like riding a 450 is not fun.
Yes, 100%.
So I'd assume that's what he's doing it for. I saw people saying on Twitter that he was doing it because he was going to do MX2 for Team Germany at the Nations. But then they just released their team, and he's not. He's doing the open class or MXGP. So I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I guess he's just doing it for the hell of it. So good for him. I'm very curious. Obviously, the 250 is – you have to ride it harder, but it doesn't beat you up as much. So I think he'll be able to go the distance on that thing. I would say 5.5.
Okay.
And I don't know, because at some point you do need the bike does come into play on a 250.
Yes.
Especially at that level.
Yes.
And I just don't know that Suzuki can run with Star, Pro Circuit,
No.
KTM, so I'm thinking 5.5 sounds like a good day for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think he has anything for Deegan, so
No, and I mean Deegan is smaller than him and has been solely focused on a 250, and I mean he's been outside of this weekend, he's been pretty hard to beat this year.
Yeah.
Not
Now,
that he wasn't hard to beat this weekend, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
Okay, so I got a conspiracy theory going here with Deegan. When he wraps this title this weekend here,
Yep.
do we see him ride a 450 at Ironman?
I don't think so. I think it's still too early in his career.
So
I could be wrong.
Okay, so here's what I've been hearing, and it's not anything of like he's riding a 450 at Ironman. Okay, I've completely made this up in my own head, and I'm hoping that it just gets enough traction through the grapevine here that they're like, you know what, this is a good idea. So here's the thing. I've heard that they were very, very deep in talks to try to go 450 next year on the assumption he was going to win the 250 Supercross title this year. So I've heard that that's been like a very big thing. I've also heard that Kawasaki is trying to write a very big check to take him to 450s for 26 because Ando's contract's done. So I've heard they're trying to write a very, very big check. Now, here's the other part of this conspiracy theory here. So Kenny's coming in to ride the 250, right? And we all don't think that Suzuki can really compete with the Pro Circuit and the Star bikes. But let's just say, in a hypothetical world here, that Kenny comes out and does Ken Roxon things and qualifies fastest, yanks a start on that thing, lays down 5 heater laps at the beginning that are 3 seconds a lap faster than everybody and beats him. Total losing situation for Deegan. Holy crap, this old guy on a 20-year-old bike came in and beat you. But how do you counteract that? Well, you already got the title won. We don't really need to race. What if we just went and did the 450s? We could break the internet because we're racing this class. And to be honest, I think if you put that kid on a 450 right now, I think there's a high probability he could podium. At least a moto, if not the overall, in this field.
Dude.
High probability. And then instead of a possible negative publicity there because you get beat by some guy who's at the end of his career on a 20-year-old bike, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we came in and we did the 450s, and you could spin it in one of two ways. If it doesn't go well, look, we're just learning, we're prepping for the future, just like all of this crap we're doing with training with everybody. But if it goes well, the only person we haven't beat's Jet. We're coming for Jet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the Deegan media machine runs deep, bro.
I don't. If you put him on a 250 in the 450 class, I say okay, maybe he could podium. But a 450, dude, he's got that 450 is not something outside of Jet. You do not just hop on that 450 and go straight to winning.
I'm sure he's riding a 450 during the week.
It's such a big bike. Yeah, but even during the week, dude, the tracks are not comparable. It doesn't matter what you do at those facilities. You will never, ever get it to replicate a race day.
Look, all I'm saying is if he shows up on a 450 at Ironman, I'm breaking my keyboard over my lap. I'm getting on a YouTube live, and I'm just going to be like, I called this. I called it.
Yeah.
Y'all can suck it because I called it. So, all right, one more thing before we let you go here. Eli Tomac comes back next week for Buds here. Where do you think he slots in here?
I have no idea because it's Eli Tomac.
This is true. So
he could go 1-1 or he could go 6-6.
This is also very true.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards like a 4th to 6th place.
Yes.
Just because he hasn't really raced a whole lot this year.
Yep.
He made it a good way through Supercross, but yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see him do good. I'm a Tomac fan. I like him. He's one of the fastest motocross racers of all time. But yeah, I don't know if those days are behind him or ahead of him still. I'd love to think that he can still run the pace that he was running in 2022.
Yep.
With him and Sexton. So we'll see. I think, he'll have 2 races this year and then the SMX, and then, hopefully he can stay healthy and go through next year.
Do you like the sorry, one more thing here. Do you like
No, you're
these?
good.
Do you like these the SMX races and the fact that like it brings these guys back at the end of the year?
No.
Okay. Because like I like it because like otherwise,
totally honest, well, as a fan, yes, but when I think about it for them,
yeah,
that fucking sucks.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I hate the fact that we're doing 31 races here,
dude,
but
it's so much.
Yeah.
And these dudes, they race all year long, 31 weekends out of the year, and they spend 2 months before the season prepping for the season.
Yes.
It's like, dude, when do they get time off?
Yep.
Yes. I think last year, Chase took a 4-day vacation and then was right back to friggin' testing and training. And I'm just like, dude, these guys need a break.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I hate it for the riders themselves, but I like that Webb came back this weekend. Obviously, Roxon comes back here to get warmed back up for the SMX, because otherwise it's like we've all talked about, we wouldn't see these guys until Anaheim 1. They got hurt, they're out because nobody likes racing outdoors, and we just wouldn't see anybody. So so it does make it interesting, gives us stuff to talk about for our end and for the fans end. But I'm with you, for the actual guys themselves, I do feel bad because I know how much of a grind this is. So
it is brutal. I've never done a full-blown all-year season like that, but I can only imagine. I did a majority of the rounds a few times, and it was just this is a lot.
I don't even go to that many races, and I just commentate on them, and it's a lot. So I sit behind a camera all day, and it's a lot to do this. So, all right, man. Well, thank you for coming on here. Really, like I said,
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Make sure to go check out Alias MX. Again, I'll link that up in the description down below to check out some of their new gear there. Pick yourself up a set, and we're good for next week too for Buds at some point,
yes, sir.
Sunday or Monday. All right, cool, man. Awesome. Then we will talk to you next week. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep.